All right, so I had a couple of other ideas for things to talk about today, and I will get to them on another day, maybe in another video today. But this one is just pressing my brain, and life has been giving me signs lately that point to answering this question, or at least sharing my thoughts about this question. And right now, the thought that just came to me is exactly I'm going to answer my own question. Today, I want to kind of talk about what are we, no, I don't want to kind of talk about, I definitely want to talk about what are we here for as human beings on this planet, in this day and age, in this lifetime. What are we here for? I've been reading a really incredible book, The Celestine Prophecy. Really, really cool, very informative, very insightful. It's a lot of things that I've thought about before, so I was really excited to kind of resonate with those things and relate with a lot of the things the book was talking about. And so, what exactly are we here for? And that's to each his own. It's not, my purpose is not somebody else's purpose, and it shouldn't be. Of course, there's going to be similar purposes, along the lines, and that's how we relate to people. But it doesn't have to be exactly the same as everybody else's, and it shouldn't be the same as everybody else's, because I'm not the same as everybody else, and neither are you. And so I kind of came up with, as I was writing down my notes about this topic, another idea for what being woke entails. And it, to me, part of being woke, this multifaceted word and understanding and concept, is waking up to your purpose, being awake to what the hell you're here for. What in the world are you doing in this lifetime on this planet? What is your purpose? And a lot of us don't necessarily consider this question because life is living us instead of us living life. And I wrote down lack of purpose results in unconscious living. And when I say unconscious, I'm talking about living on autopilot, just kind of going through, day-to-day activities, not really considering what you're doing and why you're doing it, what you're getting out of it, how you're behaving. Is that in congruence with how you want to be perceived? Are you abiding by your own boundaries? Am I, I'm not excluded from all of this. Are we living up to what we say we want to live up to, or how we want to live? And so and I wrote down another thought here on what the hell is unconscious living. Autopilot, fighting battles that aren't ours, trying to change things that we have no power to change. And so if you feel frustrated by life, kicked down by life, if you've got the victim mentality of, woe is me, and of course this shit would happen to me, and, don't get too excited about anything good because there's always going to be something bad. A lot of this comes from our own self-talk, and how we talk to ourselves is how we talk to other people. And when we are living unconsciously, we're allowing outside influences. And when I say outside influences, I'm talking about things outside of our own realm of life and living and personal thought, personal intention, self-intention. When we're living life outside of that, we become seduced really by chaos and by how other people are living their lives and what other people are doing and what they have and what you don't have, and what they look like and what you look like in comparison. And comparison is the absolute thief of joy. I didn't come up with that quote, but I absolutely love it. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it absolutely is, because when we're comparing ourselves to something or someone or something outside ourselves, we're most likely looking at what we're lacking as opposed to what we have that can get us to where we want to be going. And then begins the negative self-talk. And, all creations are based in thought. Anything that is created is a thought first. Thoughts become words, and words become actions, and actions become reality. And so when we lack purpose in life, we're just kind of going through the day-to-day activities, living a mundane life, allowing others to dictate how we feel. And when we're doing that, we're practicing being powerless, because we don't have power to change things outside of ourselves. We don't have the power to make people feel a certain way. I've said it before, if it was that easy to make people feel a certain way, it would be as easy as me saying, you feel like a piece of shit right now. And if you're in a good mood, that's not true. You don't feel like that. And it would be easy as me saying, you feel fulfilled. And if you don't, I guarantee you don't, just because I said you do. It doesn't work like that. And so making sure that, we are tuning into ourselves so that we're not allowing ourselves to get distracted with all of the distractions that are available today. We are a highly stimulated society. If we don't have anything going on, we can create something. We can simply pick up our phone and have access to anything and everything. With the internet at our fingertips like that, it's a good and a bad thing. But when we're not using it productively, we're most likely using it unconsciously, just kind of scrolling through, double tapping things that are cute, or, that make us smile, or that, we want to show support to a friend or a family member, and we're just kind of mindlessly give out energy without really taking into regard what we're getting back out of those things, or our process of however we're behaving and however we're living. And so when we do that, we just start to ingrain in our own minds that there's nothing more than this, that this is just it. This is the entertainment. This is my life. This is my job. These are my friends. This is my family. This is just the way things are. And I would challenge you to ask yourself, what have you allowed to happen to be able to create things the way that they've become? I am a big believer in we deserve what we allow. And so when we live life unconsciously and on autopilot and without purpose, we allow things to create experiences and understandings and ideas for us. Whether we like it or not, and whether we agree or not, we just kind of take it and accept it and run with it, because that's just the way that life is. And then, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years down the road, whenever we do decide to wake up to wanting to fulfill ourselves a little bit more, or a lot of bit more, we got to sift through a lot of feelings of resentments and regret and shame. And that's really difficult if we've lived long enough without purpose and without really considering the kind of mark that we want to make on this world and the message that we want to leave behind, and not necessarily what was influenced by someone else, by someone else's desires. And, this goes really deep, and it goes all over the place. And I don't want to speak too much to the finite details of it, because I think whatever you're thinking about as I'm saying this is where maybe you want to do a little bit more self-discovery. I had written down, when do we stop discovering ourselves? At what point in our lives? Do you remember? Is there a time that just one day you were full of desire to learn and understand and expand your awareness and your consciousness, and then the next day it just switched and you were done and you knew everything you wanted to know, or your brain was full and you just couldn't accept any more information? Or is it a constant battle in your brain that maybe you do want to discover more about yourself or about life in general, but how your life has been set up by your unconscious thoughts and behaviors is not allowing for that room, for the space for you to discover yourself, to discover something new. When's the last time you did something for the first time? I thought that was a really cool question that somebody had posed to me years ago, and it kind of stuck with me. And there's a lot of things like that. When's the last time that you thought something for the first time? That question came to me from my own brain earlier this year when I started allowing myself to open myself up to alternative truths and to really wake up to my purpose. I felt like I always knew that I'm a helper. I'm some sort of guide, and I've always been this person that people come to talk to. And sure, I went to school and I got my master's and I did the whole licensure. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And, you know, I loved therapy. I do love therapy, and I used to love individual sessions, but I realized that that's not fulfilling my purpose as much as I want it to, that there's another avenue, and that just because school says I should be in a room with people sitting on a couch, laying down and, you know, helping them through their problems, doesn't mean that that's where I have to be in order to live out and fulfill my purpose. There's many, many, many different ways to live out your purpose. And for me, this is part of it, which is exactly why I decided to do this video today instead of the other ones that I was thinking, because this Woke Anonymous channel is something that was born out of intention and focused thought about my purpose. And it's scary because, yeah, so many people don't get it and think I'm nuts for doing something like this. They think I might be wasting my time. Maybe that it, you know, it's a slow start, so, you know, it's not worth it. If I don't go 0 to 100 with this, then I should just give up. And if you're ever in that mindset that you try once and it doesn't work out and so you give up, you're in your own way. And you will be faced again sometime later on down the road with another opportunity to dive into your purpose and discover yourself, discover what the hell you're really here for. And it's funny that I love these earrings because for many things. One, my best friend made them. I'll plug her in the information, but also because I am a big believer that we live in a spiral. And when I say that, I'm talking about the idea that our purpose is always trying to light us up and get us to live it. I do believe that we each have our own purpose in this life, and if you don't follow it, or if you don't at least look at it or recognize it and stop and think and allow yourself to think different thoughts than what you were always taught, and to do different things than what everybody says you should be doing. Life is going to keep, you know, your purpose is going to keep chasing you and chasing you and chasing you. And it almost seems as though they become hurdles in life, problems, roadblocks, barriers, closed doors. And for me, all those things are blessings in disguise. That's all this is that when we are choosing to ignore what our purpose is trying to tell us, we're going to be faced with it time and time and time again, because we're supposed to be learning that in order to become the best that we can be in this lifetime, to level up as a human being, to fulfill our life's purpose. And when to me, I absolutely love the whole blessings in disguise idea. Once I chose to start looking at life like that, as opposed to, you know, being beat up by life's experiences and life's happenings and feeling victimized by my choices because they're not getting me everything I want. I kind of had to step back and ask myself, what is it that I really want? And it's not a right or a wrong thing. It's a helpful or unhelpful thing. I do believe as human beings, about, I would say like 90 to 95% of us, because there's always good and bad. There always has to be bad with the good. I'd say about 90 to 95% of us are born with pure intention, are born with a good heart, are born with the desire to help humanity in some way or another. And we cannot help others without first helping ourselves, right? That's like the airplane thing when they talk about the masks that come down out of the ceiling. You have to first put yours on before you can put someone else's on, because if you're trying to put someone else's on and you don't have yours on, you're not going to be able, you might not be able to fulfill that duty. You might not be able to help them the way that you intend to help them because you didn't help yourself first. You have to save yourself first. You have to pay attention to yourself first. You have to help yourself first, because once you help yourself, you can understand what it looks like to do that and what you had to go through, and you know, the behaviors that you had to change, the thought processes that you had to change in order to get out of your own way. And so when we refuse to help ourselves and we insist on being more helpful to other people because it makes me happy to make you happy, people pleasing, we get lost in this unconscious life of just now feeling guilty for doing anything for ourselves, because that means that we have to stop doing for others. If you've gotten yourself to that position, it's not going to be easy to get out of. So don't trick yourself into believing that it's as easy as just saying, okay, I'm going to do for myself now. It's not fucking easy, which is why not a lot of people do it. If it was easy, can you imagine the coexistence that this world would be experiencing? If everybody chose to help themselves first before trying to dictate what other people should be doing to live a better life according to your own standards and your own ideas. I did write something about projection, I believe, or maybe I was thinking it, but now it's coming to my mind that that's what we're doing when we're living outside of ourselves. We're living unconsciously and we're trying to help others instead of helping ourselves. We're projecting our own experiences, and how we're doing, what we're doing and how we're doing things for others are telling us what we should or need to be doing for ourselves in order to heal ourselves from the inside out. Inner child right now is coming to mind, and I've been doing some of that work, and maybe I'll do another video and share with you guys on kind of how to do some inner child work. It's pretty cool. And it's not that difficult, but it's not difficult as far as stepwise, but it's not easy work to want to change your core beliefs. It's pretty damn difficult. And it involves a lot of shaking up and replacing, and I'm thinking of like a snow globe right now, and you just kind of shake the things up and everything settles in a different place. It's all in the same lifetime, it's all in the same bubble, but things are not the same, and you don't look at them the same ever again, as you shouldn't, because if the way that you were looking at them before wasn't helping you to feel fulfilled, then why would you want to keep looking through the same lens? Allow these things that continue to keep coming back to you, and that you might see as hurdles or roadblocks or missed opportunities, or frustrations or aggravations, to show you where to change, where to do something different. I was writing some notes, I think, on people pleasing last night because I was going to do that video today, and I'm thinking right now of what I had written down about pay attention to the things that frustrate you and aggravate you and anger you, because that dark spot is showing you where the light is. it's on the opposite side of that experience. It's on the opposite side of that feeling. So if we can tune into the things that piss us off and frustrate us, we might be able to shine the light on our purpose, on what we're doing in this lifetime with this mind, with these thoughts, with these opportunities. And it gives us an opportunity to practice gratitude for where we are and the fact that the universe hasn't given up on us yet. And I say yet, but I don't think I don't personally believe the universe ever does give up on us. It's kind of like breathing. It's always working for us, and we don't really have to think about it. And so to be grateful for just that right there, that it knows something bigger than we do, something more than we do, and it's constantly rearranging things in our lives to show us and to get us to tap into our greater selves, and to not just live, not let life live us, because I feel like that's maybe what a lot of people feel like today, that life is just passing them by and they don't really have a choice in anything because this is just the way things are. But have you ever really considered what you can do to create a different reality? It's not easy, and it's a very expansive thought, but if you've never allowed yourself to think something outside of your own box, outside of the thoughts that you have regularly, outside of the thoughts that were taught to you, it's a very suffocating feeling. It's a very disheartening feeling. It feels like this is it, the end. Like, this is all there will ever be, and nothing more, nothing less. And that sounds like depression. It really does. That sounds like what would create depression. And I'm sure I'll do a video on depression and what that looks like and feels like and how it is fabricated. And when I say fabricated, I'm not saying depression is fake. Just allowing yourself to consider your thought process. Rise above your own thought process and look at it. Is it helpful? Are your thoughts and behaviors that you've trained yourself to do unconsciously so that you can just live life and not have to think about every thought that you're having, and really consider, is it helpful or hurtful towards where you're going? That's a lot of mental work to be doing, and a lot of us can't be bothered because life is happening around us and we are so involved with everything else that we feel like we have to be keeping up with, that we make excuses to not be able to slow down and really zoom out of our own perspective and ask ourselves, is there something that can be expanded? Is there something that can be pruned out? Is there unhelpful things here that I can get rid of? Is there things here that I didn't even put here that somebody else put here because they felt as though I needed this and I needed this to survive? And a lot of these things, yes, I'm talking about, comes from being raised and your experiences in childhood. And, you know, when we've survived this long, we tend to kind of say, well, yeah, I made it this far, so I must be doing something right. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what's helpful or unhelpful for you, to be able to live life joyously and want to live life. There seems to be like a mass uprising and suicide, and if there's anything more unpurposeful than deciding to commit suicide, and I don't know if I said that right, but what I'm trying to say is that when somebody commits suicide, it's because they've decided, well, it could be for many, many reasons, but I'm thinking that it's because maybe they decided that they do not have a purpose, and even if they did have a purpose, maybe it's too late to try to reach it because it involves going against too much grain. And the grain, in a sense, are the people outside of yourself and the beliefs outside of yourself, systemic beliefs that were planted in us by someone other than ourselves, are outside of our own intention. I don't want to get too lost on this video, so I'm already at 25 minutes. I could probably talk forever about this. But I think I was able to say most of what I'm trying to say about this. I'll rewatch this and then maybe do a follow-up video. Yeah, if you're watching this, thank you. And if you've heard anything here or in any other videos, please share with your friends and family. I truly believe that we get where we're going by allowing others to join in what's helping us. And if you're selfish with things that are helpful for you, ask yourself what you're afraid of losing by giving it away. Thanks.